Hello, good evening, good afternoon, everybody, whichever part of the day you classing it as. Welcome to Apathetic TV. We're going over what I described yesterday. I think everyone was in total agreement yesterday with my title of how I match vlogged the episodes at Old Trafford in Checked Out FC. We're doing Checked Out FC Part 2, the live version today. We just want to see. I tested the mood earlier on. I put it out there on Twitter. Ask the question to the comments already. And guys, in the comment section, get on board with all the topics and let us know what you think about what the guys saying, what I get onto. But the mood right now is one of, oh, God, it's not a nice one, put it that way. Everyone I spoke to outside Old Trafford yesterday, I think they just want everything to finish. And we'll get into all the nitty-gritty and everything that happened and went down yesterday as well. But joining me tonight, obviously, Jamie, back on the show, mate. How you doing, pal? Not a good time for United fans at the moment, but other than that, personal life and everything, is it all bang on point, mate? You happy?
Yeah, everything's going well, mate. Nice to see you two boys again. I can't complain. Everything's good my end, apart from my football team, unfortunately.
That's it, mate. How's the boys' team doing anyway, mate? Are they doing any better?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We got beat last weekend by the team that are top of the league, so it's a bit of an uphill struggle now. But we've secured second. We've got them at the weekend, so it's a massive game for us. But we'll see how we get on, mate. I don't want to put too much pressure on the boys. They're only under 12s, man. So 5 points behind, and we've got 2 games in hand. So technically, it's still in our hands, but we've got to get a win at the weekend against a very good team, to be fair.
Yep. So Jamie's talking there about fighting against the top of the league team, fighting for top 2 for honours, something that this mob ain't doing and ain't going to be doing for a very long time, mate.
Yep, very long time, man.
I mean, how are you first of all, Saeed, mate? Are you okay, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, me. Like I said to you, I'm all good, man. Nothing's really... I'm all positive on my side of direction in life. It's just like United, whenever even people stop me in the street or anything like that, I actually don't want to talk about United. I'll be honest with you. They're saying to me, what's going on? I'm like, you know what? I'm just having a good day. I'm just on my walk. Like when I'm on my 10K walk or like 15K walk, I'm like, yeah, I'm just on my walk, really. Just enjoy the podcast a bit. Don't want to talk about United.
You do it to get away from it, don't you?
I do it to get away. And then someone's catching me outside a gym or someone's saying, what's going on with United? I said, your goodness is against mine because I don't know. And my escapism from football, you know, your escapism should be football, but mine is just doing everything else but football. But like I said to you, you know, we kind of deserve to be where we are because we haven't given a fight, and that's the saddest reality. If we gave a fight, nobody on here or nobody in the comments would say, you know what, fair play. We put up a fight, but we're not doing that, and that's just the harsh reality and the sad reality, I'll say.
I'm gonna get straight into it. Let's get right into the nitty gritty, guys. Pointless beating around the bush. Let's get right into it. Comment section. I want you to tell me. I'm gonna get in with the boys in a deeper convo about it now. But finishing position for the season, guys. Results have been horrendous for us this weekend. It has been an absolute shocker of a welcome back to the Premier League that we all said we wanted about 3 days ago. But guys, where we finish in the league, because Side, mate, I'll come to you first. The 3 teams we spoke, are the 3 teams up there, I'll say Chelsea, City and Liverpool, the teams that this club say we are in and amongst, we are and should be battling against every season, are the ones that pretty much have our European destiny in their hands, mate, right now. That is a sorry state of affairs. But Chelsea, City and Liverpool will determine where United play next season if we do play outside of England, because there's a distinct possibility, Side, mate, that we ain't going to have any European.
Oh, is that just me, Jamie? Or
no, I don't think so, mate. I think he's dropped out.
Look what United are doing to him. Look at that, people.
Yeah, bless him. He's not even styling his hair no more, man.
Bless him. Exactly. Yeah, but like I said to you, mate. What is he trying to say? Just the fact that we're not going to be in Europe next season. It is a sad reality.
Sorry, guys.
You there?
Carry on.
Sorry, go on. No, I didn't get the end of your question. The end of it.
Basically, it's the topic of conversation outside Old Trafford last night was one of, do we really deserve to be in Europe, mate? That was the question.
Absolutely. I know, to be honest, we don't, because I don't know about you guys here, Adam. It was a testimonial atmosphere, mate. There was even the Red Army wasn't getting involved. I mean, I didn't really hear any songs. There was a guy in the East Stand just whistling. I think he was very, very obviously intoxicated, but he was whistling to the away fans to get their attention. I mean, they're never going to hear you, mate. And that was probably the most entertaining bit out of the whole lot. And then people getting disgruntled in the background, and then Stewart had to tell him to. That was my kind of like, entertainment. Because other than that, first half, I've never seen their first half as flat as that. I mean, the Bruno chance was the only chance that we had. And I think the second half we huffed and puffed. We really, really huffed and puffed. The Elanga chance when Rashford and them got muddled in together just kind of summed up the season. Sancho on towards, because I'm on the East Stand, Sancho has a ball and he goes through his feet. The amount of times McTominay did something good and then he sprayed that. Remember that diagonal ball he tried to spray to Sancho, and the whole crowd was like, "Oh my god!" Like he did one good thing and then he do another bad thing. That's the story of McTominay. And the more I look at it, Leicester should have got the game. I think that Varane challenge, people say it's a free kick. I'm looking back of it. I think it's very, very harsh on their side. And for me, like I said to you, we don't deserve top four because you need to pull up a result. When you're looking at Man United's results, Adam and Jamie, it's absolutely shocking. We have not won 3 games in a row for a long time. I don't think we have done this season. We've not put a sustained amount of runs. Like we talk about that away record we used to do under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And this one is just nothing. There's actually nothing. The players have given up. Most of them are on holiday. Some of them, they're not even trying anymore. I mean, there was a period, I think, I don't know if you know, guys, here, but I watched this very, very carefully. Rangnick was, I think it was Luke Shaw went down. Rangnick immediately went to tell us, right, you're coming on. Not even a warm-up. Normally there's a warm-up. He said, you're coming on. Then McTominay waves his hand and said, no, he's okay. He's fine. He's fine. Next thing you know, half-time, who comes on? Tellez. And you can see Rangnick's face. He's saying, no, I'm bringing on Tellez. And then Shaw and McTominay said, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. What happened second half? Tellez comes on. And I'm just like, simple things like that. I look at and I'm thinking, what's like this? There's some sort of clear players have got the power. And Rangnick's almost lost and he's thinking, bloody hell, I'm trying to bring on Tellez here, but they're saying it's okay. You know what? I don't want to cause an issue here. You guys stay on then. And then if he comes on, I just feel like there's a clear miscommunication. Nobody's together. We're not united. And you know what? We're meant to be where we are. We're fighting Wolves and West Ham for these Europa League spots. And I don't even want to be in them. You know what I mean? Because we don't even deserve Europa League. It's supposed to West Ham and Wolves deserve Europa League. We don't deserve Europa League.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. I mean,
No,
I get that. I've seen it. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know the scene, Saeed, mate. I know exactly what it was. And it comes down to I've been saying it for ages, and people have been saying it's impossible, but I just don't think Rangnick has got any power whatsoever. I mean, Jamie, I looked into this before, and it's no coincidence that when it was quite clear that Rangnick wasn't going to be backed by the board, we went completely off the cliff, mate. We were sort of clinging on. We were abseiling down. And then we sort of looked down and we went, there's no point here. Whee! Let's go. Off we go. Down the cliff. No problem. Let's just give up completely. It's pointless trying to get down safely and get anywhere, because I looked at it, the Lingard situation, what happened with Greenwood, the fact that we won't give him $6 million to buy a midfielder just to implement his system. I think he feels, and I covered the press conference for United Stand the other day, mate. I looked at him, I've seen a dejected man. And it's quite clear to me that Rangnick has given up as well. Mate, Jamie, calendar year, 16 games we've had in all competitions. We've had 6 wins, mate. I mean, 2 of the teams that are going to get relegated were in them 16 games. And 1 team that's already in the championship. By the way, we didn't beat any of them. Kind of shows you, doesn't it, mate? Since the turn of the year, they just looked at what was ahead and thought, you know what? We're not on board. Then the manager's gone, I can't turn this lot around within this time period. I'm not on board. It's just looking like that now, mate, that no one at the club really is interested in what happens this season. It's just completely looked past and concentrating on to next season.
Yeah. When he came in, I think obviously we had the Palace game and we've seen some sort of energy, enthusiasm, an actual identity, what he wanted to implement. And then gradually over the weeks, it just disappeared. And I think it culminated in the game where you invited me up to come to the Villa game. And I remember you speaking outside the ground on yourself. And actually, we were having that conversation like, is this not going the way we think it's going to go? And I remember you saying about top four then. And I said to you, I can't see it. Like, they're just not consistent enough. They're not showing me enough. And I always say, like, it sounds stupid. Like, you boys go to every game, but your eyes don't lie in football, do they? You know, if people are passengers on the pitch, you know what I mean? You know, if people are not up for it, they don't quite fancy it today. And the problem is you're getting 9 out of the 11 every single week at the moment. And when you bring an interim manager in, you're not giving him no control over the team. Like, a lot of the fan base seem to be going in on Rangnick at the moment and getting the Ollie comparison out, which I just don't understand at all. Like, what were they expecting him to do?
That's a joke, by the way. That's an absolute. I can't believe what I was. Oh,
this is it.
God.
I mean, on that, Jamie, I'll let you carry on it as well. But someone, I mean, stats are manipulated to whatever agenda you want to run. We know that. And I think someone came on the radio today and said, 21 games in charge, Rangnick. Out of all the managers, post Alex Ferguson, first 21 games, he's got the worst record out of everyone. I'm like, and your point is, he's come into the mess from all of them players. He's literally got players from every single manager post Alex Ferguson in this squad, which none of them managed to make work. So go fix that with the board going against you in a transfer window, with a young striker going AWOL and completely off the scale.
Absolutely.
Marcus Rashford added to that. Then you've got players that just don't want to be there. Before he came in, Donny and Martial decided they were already leaving and he didn't have a choice. He's got zero power. And for me, you know what? I've still not got a problem with Rangnick, mate. I literally say he's had the worst sort of card draw out of anyone I've ever seen, what he's had to deal with. And people may not like his style. They may say he's a bit of a dinosaur and this and that, but he was thrown in there and given Darren Fletcher as his second-hand man. He was giving him. He wasn't even able to bring his own people in. He literally managed to scrape in 2 or 3 people through the door.
Mike Phelan, the one that stands on the wall.
It's an absolute shock. I know maybe he's not the right man for Manchester United, but to compare him to what was before, Jamie, I just think he's out of order. And you know what? I don't blame him for giving up because the club's given up. So what's the point? You know what I mean? What is the point, Jamie? And on your point there, you just said then fans comparing. I mean, do you think it's fair? You may not think Rangnick is the right man, mate, but I don't think he's been given a fair crack. It's not as much as what other managers were anyway.
No, I've been consistent on mostly on Twitter because that's usually where I talk football, apart from obviously when I'm doing stuff like this with you guys. I've been consistent. I will not blame Rangnick one bit. I'm not going to blame him at all. Yes, sometimes I don't understand like selections and substitutions and stuff like that. But I'm not putting any of it at his door because you can't, because his hands have been tied behind his back since he walked in the door. If you do your research on Rangnick, which you guys would have done, I myself, everybody that supports the club before he came, it was all about the philosophy and the style of play. And the thing that really stands out to me is the one manager that come out and give him massive credit was arguably one of the best managers in the world, Klopp. And they said, he said on Sky Sports News, we have to understand now Manchester United are going to be organised on the pitch. We couldn't be more unorganised pitch. But I always say it stems from what's coming down. It like shit filters down. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But it drips down and it goes right down to the core. Do you know what I mean? And when you've been given a platform of complete mediocrity for years by the people at the top that are just counting the pound signs, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And bad recruitment, bad planning, bad structure, no long-termness in their planning. This is what it is now. Like giving players stupid contracts, keeping players that don't want to be at the club, rewarding players that have not been good enough for 4 or 5 years. And now this is the culmination on the pitch. And what they've done is they've thought, right, we've got an absolute shit show of a team here and it's all in absolute crisis, but we'll just buy Ronaldo and hopefully he'll get us through. And that's just made it even worse. And I feel like he's become the scapegoat, and other players have become the scapegoat. But the reality of it is, when you've got one of your most arguably important players, in my opinion, Pogba, when he's on his game, he's world class when he's on his game. When he's at an international break and coming out to the media and saying, there's nothing to play for, when that's one of your more quality-based players and he's got that mindset, that's going to filter into that squad. And you think to yourself, do you know what? They're absolutely savaged in the head to think this. They're literally checked out. Like, they're booking their holidays. They're planning their next moves for the players. And when that's I know Pogba's not a senior player, but I mean, in stature of football, he's known as a fantastic player. And when he has that mindset and he's talking like that, which I was absolutely astonished by it. I mean, I've took a backward seat over the international break because I've needed a rest from Man U because it's just poisonous. And I completely shut off from it. I didn't mention them or nothing.
Don't worry, you're not the first.
When I seen that and him saying that, I thought, if he's got that mindset, supposedly a winner, a World Cup winner, like winning mentality and all positive on social media all the time, if that's what he's saying to the media, what are the rest of them thinking? And it's just that's my biggest point for this ramble on that I've went on. It's just mediocrity from the top and it's filtered onto the pitch, and this is what happens. And then you bring a poor guy in from Germany and expect him to fix all the bloody holes that's leaking out from the broken bridge that's our football team,
That's it, mate. I mean, Saeed, Jamie's rolled right into the title there. We're talking the talk, not walking the walk. Before the game, an international duty, Jamie quite rightly pointed out the Pogba interview where he said there's nothing else to play for. We've spoke about that before, but he put us in an absolute dire performance yesterday, and then comes out on social media afterwards saying we're going to fight every single game. That's what we're going to do.
Should have seen the comments. Should have seen the comments, man, underneath it.
Just don't bother, Said, is it, mate?
I know.
I didn't look at him, mate. Did he get slaughtered for it, pal?
Yeah, he got. A lot of people was like, well, we don't want to hear that now, etc., etc. For me, like I said to you, for me, yesterday he didn't look interested. His mind is elsewhere. I think most of them as well. That they're not really in it, man. You know what I mean? Like, I see the frails of Elanga, but again, when you've kind of squeezed out Elanga, I felt like that we've squeezed out Elanga, but that's not his fault because United have put him in that situation where he should have been kind of bedded into his system, bedded into Man United, playing here and there and building up his confidence, not just throwing him in the deep end. And that's what's happened. Rashford came on, and I mean, I think again he carries on this cameo of appearances where you think, bloody hell, he's even playing. You know what I mean? Sancho was poor yesterday. I think again, he's been carrying United a lot this season. Towards the back end of the season, and again, it's caught up to him. I don't know, man. It just feels like we're not connected as a team, man. We're so dysfunctional. It's unbelievable. Everybody wants to do their own thing. Bruno wants to launch that ball 100 yards, and nobody's on the end of it. It's very, very difficult. McTominay doesn't want to receive the ball. I'm looking at McTominay and Varane and Maguire trying to pass to him. He doesn't want to co-collect that ball. Then Fred is coming a bit deep. Then we got caught in possession. There's a lot of things that are happening that are very, very bad. I mean, the biggest one for me is that goal that Maddison scores. Varane comes in, doesn't win the ball. But Maguire, I mean, come on. Have some sense, mate. You can't go in.
I've seen that side, mate.
How can you?
It got forgot about side simply because the goal got disallowed. But I thought, Jesus Christ, I was looking at it going, I bet it's Maguire who's injured Varane there. Because
that's what I thought.
In, mate. That's what I actually thought from where I was. But I mean, it was like the suicide.
Yeah. It's like the Shaw one for Tottenham when we lost 6-1, when he kind of dragged him down. That's what he did for Varane. Yeah. Varane was meant to be like, you know what? Okay, I've made a mistake here. I've not won the ball. But you've got to cover me back. And you haven't covered me. And I'm sorry. For me, that was absolutely diabolical defending. I mean, Telles is awful as well. I've got it wrong with Telles. He's not great. He came in, he got megged, then he got one past to it, and then you should have seen Rangnick's face, because I'm always watching Rangnick and see what his face, because there's not much going on the pitch, and you should have seen him. He was like that. He was like that because he was thinking, oh my God, it's not any better, is he? And there's a lot of like Dalot's crossing is getting worse and worse. I don't know what's going on with Dalot's crossing. Is he not practicing anymore? You're on that side, Adam. You must be fuming.
Yeah, mate. You know what? He had a good game yesterday, Dalot, for me. He did have a good game. And that's pushing it because he offered more threat going forward than our forwards did.
Yeah.
I'm probably looking at Dalot as having a good game because I thought Sancho was shite.
Terrible.
I thought he was crap. Alanga was not much better. I'm not going to let him off because he's a young kid, but not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Decision making.
I thought his crossing was just poor. Dalot's like in game, he was getting on the overlap, but I just feel like his crossing is very, very. I don't know what it
ball is horrendous at the moment, mate. I mean, you had to watch what Leicester did. They didn't create much, but the balls in the box were superb. Maddison's delivery is exceptional.
Oh, mate.
But for David De Gea and a disallowed goal, we should have been walking out of there 3-1 defeated.
Yep.
And that's down to James Maddison.
These draws for me are a false reality. You know, it's giving the fans a little bit of hope to kind of buy it on. But for me, like I said to you, you know, I was like, I said in my match reaction, are you surprised? Is anyone surprised? Leslie, that was next to me, she's like, no, this is what we're going to get now to the end of the season. They don't care. And the fans don't care. The fans, honestly, there was lots of empty seats yesterday. A lot of people who left home early. The guy in front of me left early. The two guys in front of me weren't there. There's a lot of new faces. Maybe people that want a day out, you know, I mean, nothing wrong with that, but you know, I feel like a lot of people have got a bit of apathy now. A lot of people are just dejected by everything. You know what I mean?
That's it. I mean, Jamie, you touched on it before. I mean, I remember very, 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 very early back in the season, we signed one Cristiano Ronaldo. I was at that game. I was at that debut, and I got slaughtered after the game. I think it's our fourth game into the season. Game 4 of the season. We beat Newcastle 4-1, and I got slaughtered outside the stadium because I did a vlog outside which said, "I'm concerned. I can see problems here right now." And everyone went in. God, you probably thought that we were getting beat, mate, the way you were talking. But I knew what was happening. A few weeks later, that Villa game came up that you spoke about, and the same problems were there. We basically got bailed out by Ronaldo that day. And he wasn't that great either himself that day. And I've obviously criticised Ronaldo's form this season. I've called Ronaldo a problem. And he is a problem because he's no future for us. He's absolutely zero future for us. He's basically bailing us out of a now situation with his performances. If Ronaldo was staying on, I would probably say he's good to have around because of the young players that are coming through right now. I'm hearing Hannibal talking about Ronaldo in the press. I'm hearing other players, the ones that want to listen, like that interview we did have. He's a problem for us in a way that none of these players are going to be able to cope and play with him. This is what I was trying to get at. And I've seen this issue at Newcastle, mate. We've just not addressed it. All United do is concentrate on the big player, the player who can individually save us and do this. Last season it was Bruno and the season before. This season, it's been Ronaldo. Bruno suffered because of it. We can't string a team together. We can't build a team. And we can't get more than 2 or 3 players having a minimum, 7 out of 10 performance. It's maybe 1 or 2. The rest are just awful, mate. And this is the problem now because you said it before. It comes down from top to bottom. This club are already making people renew season tickets. It's an absolute disgrace. They've got some fans have actually got to the end of March. Add to the end of March. I don't know if it's you was one. You probably not because you've been a season ticket longer. But some season ticket holders were given to the end of March to renew for next season.
Wow, is that seriously?
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Wow.
They were given till the end of March to renew, or they lose the season ticket. This is our football club. I mean, Jamie, top to bottom, you said it. The banner was up at the Villa game away from home, rotten from top to bottom. That's what this club is right now. And on the pitch, I said it many a times, it's been completely affected now by what's happened off it. And it's got out of control, mate.
It's totally out of control, mate. It's I said, but when we got knocked out of the Champions League, that we've got 9 friendlies left. And that's exactly what they're going to be. The issue with me is I think you're spot on with about Ronaldo. Like, I feel like he's the scapegoat now. It's like the Glazers are quite happy for him to take the slack. Like, what did they expect? Like, Ronaldo's legs have gone. You know what I mean? Like, his better days are past him. He's still a player there. The Tottenham game proved that, but he doesn't have the quality around him to be able to get the best out of him. Like, we can't cross, like Saeed said. He's one of the best in the air. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't play to his strengths. And I feel like it's funny because I was just watching Newcastle Tottenham. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I think Newcastle are unbalanced with Maximum in their team. And I kind of feel like it's the same with Ronaldo. And that's not Ronaldo's fault. Like, they're the most influential players. Like, Maxi's the same up here. But there's no balance to the team. And I just think you hit the nail on the head when you said Bruno suffered because of it. And I think that is a prime example. But the thing is, when you're not allowed to go in the market and address these issues and try and get some sort of balance, like, what harm would it have done to bring in a Zakaria or Kamara just to give us a little bit of shape, like, until the end of what's the problem with it? Like, if a new manager comes in the summer and doesn't quite fancy that player, they might be a squad player, or they might be able to be retrained into a different position. Like, Zakaria can play right back, you know, like, he's played right back before. Like, there's like, I'd like to think if we bring a manager in, he could work with something like that instead of just saying, no, we're not going to do nothing. And then the balance of the squad be exactly the same as to what's not been working for the whole season. But it's just the blame game, and that's what it is. And you've got a natural born winner coming into a team full of, I don't know what the best word to use, just like players that think they're at a higher level than they are because they're being told they are, that they're world-class football players, when the reality is they're not. They've got a guy that's done it all in the game. And yet, if I was a player in that team, I would want to suck as much of Ronaldo as I could. I would do the guy's head in. I'd ask him about his diet. I'd ask him how he's kept in so much good shape, about how to manage the pressure of being a top-level player. And these guys have just hated on him and not liked the fact that he's tried to take the club to another level and they're not at his level. And I feel like a lot of them have been found out. And I feel like the fan base have woken up now to think, you know what, like Shaw, Maguire, McTominay, these players are nowhere near as good enough as we thought they were. But the Ronaldo signing, you boys will know as well, like, that was done for commercial value. We were just hoping that it was going to work. We all got suckered in. I think you said this last time I was on, Saeed, about Ronaldo. We all got sucked in by the nostalgia. And we did. We all went out. We bought the tops. Like, we just did. But it's because of who he is and what he means to us as fans from. But like, instead of encouraging the rest of the team to think, do you know what? If we play to his strengths, he could take us to a trophy or something here. They've done the complete opposite. And then they've went against the manager as well. They don't like his tactics. They're questioning his assistant manager and calling him Lasso, like, which is just disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got leak after leak after leak coming out, and then it's just an absolute cocktail of disaster. And I can't even imagine what that dressing room's like. You know, I can't, because I've been in dressing rooms where two players don't get on, and it's not nice to be involved. And that's like sort of Saturday League level. I can't imagine what it's like with multi-millionaire egos that think they've got a God-given right to play every game. And the players that we've looked at in the past, sorry, Adam, like Rashford, I think we think like all of us after Paris saying that he was better than Mbappe. Like, he's nowhere near on the planet of Mbappe. And I think that we've probably, as a fan base, me as well, because I've done it, fell into the trap of thinking that our players are actually better than they are. And I think it's took to bring a world-class player in. Even Ibrahimovic done it to a certain extent. With a professionalism, a winning mentality, and the rest of the club just cannot live on that same spectrum as that player, and they've just been found out. Sorry, I cut you off there, Adam. I apologise, mate.
It's all right, mate. It's all right. I mean, it's quite clear if people rate certain players that aren't as good as what they are. I mean, look at Lukaku. I always knew what Lukaku was, and look at him at Chelsea now and the problem that he's causing there. But Saeed, mate, I mean, you're looking at it now, you're going forward. There has to be some form of click going on in that dressing room. I mean, what was said with Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, that's exactly the sort of thing that would sort of lead you to think that there are cliques within that dressing room at United. To say it's more comfortable and a happier atmosphere on England international duty than your day-to-day job, that's a massive concern. And it's no wonder the fans are actually thinking there must be cliques, because then you watch what happens on the pitch, mate, and it sort of just fills you with zero confidence that they are lying, because there has to be some form of disconnect between big parts of this squad. And it does look like there are certain groups of players that just don't want to be there, don't want to interact with the other members of the team and even the manager.
You know, for me, I think, the clicks, we never heard about this under Ollie, you know what I mean? And now this, like Jamie said, the Ted Lasso comments, the leaks coming out, the fact that they when you tell a kid, they can't have this, they start to basically cause anarchy, and then they start to have
wobbler.
For a wobbler, yeah, basically, yeah. And this is what these players are doing. They're acting like children. You know what I mean? They can't get their own way. They used to love it under Ollie. The fact that it was there very, very safe for them. It was a safe environment for them, a safe haven. They weren't criticized. They weren't told, this is what you're doing. Fletcher and all these guys that were around Ollie, they were like, Ollie was like, yo, these are my boys. These are my guys that I grew up with. These are guys that I played with. That kind of feeling where, Ralph has said, you know what? I don't know what really Fletcher does. I don't know what he really does. And then this is where it creates this kind of feeling of the leaks are coming from, because then they will leak things to the press and be like, you know what? Ralph's a bit old age with his tactics, and you know what? It's not very kind of sustainable, and it's not suitable to the players' needs, etc., etc. And for me, like I said to you, you're right, Adam. As soon as Ralph has come here, he's had his hands tied behind his own back, and you know what, man? It's really, really kind of sad to see. But I've enjoyed Ralph Rangnick because he's exposed the club for what it is. And you know what? I'll take that for me this season, because I want to at least know there's problems and there's no problems at all. Imagine knowing there's no problems there. The next thing you know, it comes at the end of the season and you got no trophies. How many times are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? No trophies at the end of the season. But you know what? Let's give him another contract. It's okay. He's got the camaraderie. Everyone likes Solskjaer. I'd rather someone up front and honestly say, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. And you know what? What did Ralph say in the comments? Can anyone tell me what he said about the comments about players? We have to buy players that can improve or something. He said something very, very poignant.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys... Finger. He hasn't got the there was the midfielder that United needed. I can't remember how he worded it now. He knows the identity. Something. The identity and the style of player he needed is not within this football club.
There you go.
And that goes with everything. But for the club to actually write off a half a season or a full season because of the result of it, why not backing him on them words? Shows you exactly where they're at. I mean, Jesus, they're going to have to spend some money if they want to get out there. Preem Prodigy, cheers for the super chat, mate. Everyone is saying we need a massive clear out. We said this in 2019. How many rebuilds are we going to trust this board with?
Yeah,
they've had 9 years. That's my ass. Yeah, mate. I mean, that's exactly it.
But Gary never made a good point, though, Adam. He said that the Glazers need to sell, or they have to do certain things. I was talking to the security, the steward that's on my block on the East Stand, big up to him. But we were just talking about the infrastructure of the football club and how old the stadium is. And when you look at the club, have they really invested? All they've used is United's kind of commercial appeal. And that's all they've done. And when you look at this Bruno Fernandes deal, it's basically protecting your asset. Because if you're imagining Man United are on the stock market, and they want to grow in terms of stock market, they've got to keep assets like Bruno Fernandes. Even if you think 3 more years is not, they want to know that they've got this player until 2027. So then United's asset is almost strengthened. And people don't look at it in that way. You're thinking 3 more years, but it's not. They're thinking, right, we can strengthen our assets. And that's why it makes sense to keep Ronaldo for 1 more year. That's why they give him a 2-year contract, not a 1-year contract. 1 more year, keep the assets flowing, keep the commercial avenue and the commercial revenue high as hell. And that's the problem. And when you look at outside Old Trafford, and you look at the industrial site that Old Trafford has got, we could easily build a stadium because Man United apparently own the whole land. So that freight land, Adam, and that freight island that we've got and all the industrial bits that we've got, we can actually tell them, right, you got to move now because we're building a stadium. And then we could use the Old Trafford Stadium as maybe the women's stadium or something like that. or
Yeah.
knock it
I
down
mean,
and build a training ground.
No, knowing what they're like, mate, they probably try and use the spare parts from the old stadium to build the new one. That's what they try and save money, mate. That's what it is. And then they'd go, well, we're being Green United, we're just recycling. That's what they would do. I mean,
there you go. There's a comment. Nicholas has got the comment there. It's right there. Big up to Nicholas.
Nicholas there, where have you gone? Nicholas there,
Yeah.
Nicholas there. It's obvious something needs to be changed. To be rebuilt in the summer, the team could do with some more highly talented, hungry players who really want to develop their own careers. That's it. That's true. Pre-term there with the super chat. Cheers, mate. The squad is simply saturated. I won't jump on either the manager or the squad. Motivation does not work on a spirituality dead squad. Freshen it up. I mean, yeah, freshen it up. You got to look at it and go, how do you freshen it up? Because I'm looking at Marcus Rashford now, Jamie, and I'm going, we talked about him last week. He's had 3 weeks. And I said this in my preview on it. I'm going, comment came from Ralph Rangnick a few weeks ago when he said Rashford needs to play like he trains. And I thought, you know what? We've got everyone on international duty, but Rashford's there. So 3 weeks on the training ground with Ralph. 3 weeks. Oh, no, hang on a minute. No, he gave him a holiday. Let's not forget, it was the third holiday they've had this season, well, in the middle of the season. So let's not forget that. Then players need that holiday break. But that time on a training ground with Rangnick, you'd have thought, you know what, maybe he's got a chance of making a start here, actually getting in the starting lineup. And then Alanga starts ahead of him, Jamie. And I'm looking at that and going, wow, this was a player, like you said a minute ago, there was like being compared to Mbappe at one stage. Rather, I mean, people on the radio, pundits saying I'd rather have Rashford playing for me than Neymar because of what Neymar's like and how he kicks off. I remember it well. And you look at it now, and I say this, and people will say, you can't really bring in what happens off the pitch. Well, yes, you can. A man at his age, already with an MBE, and the achievement that he's accomplished off the pitch. And I think it was, I can't remember which one of you said it a few moments ago when he said, these players are already in their minds feeling like they've made it. I mean, you try and tell me that off the pitch and everything that he's achieved and everything that's going on in his life right now is not distracting him from his football. I can't see it, mate. Not one man alive could deal with everything that's going on in a life like that and concentrate on the day job. I don't care who they are. It's virtually impossible. But this is what's happened with Marcus Rashford. And I stand by it. I've said it all along. He actually does feel like he has made it right now for me. And do you know what? The accomplishments that he's achieved, in his head, he's probably telling himself, well, I've achieved a lot. I'm already settled. I'm in now. I'm done. That's it. And then football's come second to me. And I think there's a few other players within our team that are actually on that level, like where they can dictate and say exactly what they want to say because they feel like they've already there and made it. And that comes from the structure of the club and how much they're rewarded for mediocrity from above, mate.
Yeah, I think Saeed nailed it earlier when he said that they give Ollie a new contract when he achieved nothing. Like,
exactly.
How can you
Hey, on that, Jamie? Sorry to cut you off, mate. Let's not forget, while Rangnick was in the stand, having been announced as the manager, Manchester United unveiled a banner in the Stretford End for thanking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for winning absolutely F all. That is where this club is at.
Yeah, it's all sentimentality and let's just look good on social media and all that, ain't it? It's like let's look like a nice club instead of actually talking and being real about the actual proper cracks in the club. Let's just get someone in to paint over them and just forget that they're there. You know, it's been the same for years. But going back onto the Rashford thing, definitely his work off of the pitch has influenced his footballing game. There's no doubt about it because he looks absolutely lost. But the thing is, though, people need to... It's like Rashford's uncriticisable. I've been criticising Rashford for months on my socials. And I'm criticising him based off of what he's doing when he crosses the white line. I think what he's done out of football is amazing. But the way I look at it is I'm a Man United fan and I'll criticise him if I want to criticise him for the way he's playing on the field. I don't have an agenda against anyone in the squad. I don't dislike any players. So I'm going to go give them criticism based on what they're doing on the field. And I've always been the same. I'm a bit of a gobby on Twitter, you know, with regards to what I tweet. But I like to think I'm quite raw and I'm honest, and I let my eyes dictate what I see. And with Rashford, it's like he just gets a free pass with the majority of the fan base because he was born in the city and he done okay under different managers. But the issue is, if you're being dropped from the England team, like where's the like professionalism to think I've got to knuckle down here? Like I'm sure you two lads have been in some part of your life and you thought, you know what, I'm not putting in the effort here. I've got to wind my neck in a little bit here and get back to basics. And that doesn't need to be in football, in life, like, you know, whatever you're going through, whether it's tough times at work, tough times with your mental health, whatever it is, fitness-based or whatever, sometimes you've got to have a reality check and talk to yourself and think, got to go back to basics here, I'm slipping. And I don't feel like that's happening with him. Like, how many holidays do you need? Do you know what I mean? And it's the same consistent bad decision-making, running into blind alleys, not playing the ball when you should do, working on. He just hasn't improved for me. He doesn't have a position. I don't think he actually knows where he wants to play, as in where his career should be based. Yeah. He's played on the left, he's played on the right, he's played centre, and he struggled in all of them. But the thing is, when Rangnick comes in, and this is what happens when you get a proper manager in, whether you like Rangnick or not, he has a philosophy. He has a way he wants the game to be played. He has specific roles for every player in that 11. And with Rashford, he's been in and out of the team, and I feel like Rashford's just looked at the situation and thought, wait a minute, like I'm not playing up front, I'm not getting on the left now. Like, oh, young Alanga's coming in and he's playing, and Ralph don't trust me. But like, what's happening? Like, and you can see, I can honestly see like talk about the clicks. Him going up to Maguire and Shaw and thinking, well, this went like this with Ollie. Like I thought, but I played. Even when I played bad, I played. And it's like that. Oh no, poor me. Instead of like sort of taking it on the chin and thinking like, right, okay, why don't I go and talk to the guy that's not picking me and asking him the question why I'm not getting in the game, on the pitch and being a focal point of his team, because that's what everybody thinks I should be. I think I'm good enough to play that role. So why don't I go to the actual man and ask him why, and then try and develop my game to suit what he's after. And then next season we can start afresh with a new manager. But no, it's the same with Maguire, Shaw. The core English players or British players, including McTominay in there, they're all checked out. Lingard's checked out. Rashford, Shaw, Maguire, they've all been poor. But I feel like
Lingard was sick. Lingard was sick on the bench, apparently. I mean, who has, like, this season is just weird, isn't it, guys? Like, can you not just say to Ralph,
understatement,
you're not ill? Like, just say, Ralph, you're ill, mate. You know what I mean? I can't make it. Then we can bring someone from the bloody youth. Bring Charlie McNeil in. Bring these players, Garnacho, mate, Hannibal. I'm sorry. That's one thing I'm just kind of, confused as to why the youth aren't playing. Is it because Fletcher's come in and said, no, keep the youth to the youth, and maybe we've got enough players here that have not had game time and they want game time instead of Jesse Lingard. We have to keep them guys happy. Maybe it's that, because I keep thinking that I'm just looking at it thinking, surely Ralph would bring on some youth players, surely. Because I'm sure,
hands tied, mate.
Better than, his hands are tied, mate. It's simple as that. Tied. He said it. He goes, he wants players that are hungry. Youth players are always hungry. They want an opportunity.
Oh, this is it. Do you know what, guys? God. I said this. I put it out on my Instagram yesterday. If you want to know exactly what this football club is, go on to Sky and watch Winning Time. The season's just started. It's about the rise of the LA Lakers in basketball, yeah? Watch that program. When you get to around episode 3 and 4, which is where it's at now, you see exact same scenario of what is happening right now. A bunch of pre-Maradonas with a new coach coming in. What did they do when he came in with the new ideas? They all went crying over to the old coach, the coach that was losing, the coach that wasn't getting anywhere, because their lives were being affected by what was going on. That program is absolutely brilliant to see exactly what a giant, sleeping giant, with the right direction can
Where's
be.
This on? Where's
it's
this on?
It's on Sky. It's basketball about the LA Lakers.
I'll watch
actually
it.
A program. There is a comedy element to it, but it's absolutely brilliant, and it is to the point exactly. And you see it when the new coach comes in with the new ideas of how to get out of the old age. They want to change everything up and change the whole structure on what they have to do to make them. And then they did turn into the juggernauts that they are. It was the start of it. Absolutely brilliant. And I would recommend that. But around about episode 4, you see exact same problems that you're getting right now. Players with too much power, with too much say. And that is what I look at. And I go, that's United. That's United's dressing room right now. I guarantee it. That is United's dressing room right now. Like you just said then, say it's like, what? I'm not playing this week. Well, no, you were shit, mate. So you're not playing.
Yep.
Like, whoa, hang on a minute. You can't say that to me. You can't say that to me. I'm on the bench. Yeah, you're on the bench. It's like, well, I just mentioned Jesse Lingard then. And I said, Ralph checked out himself. When this board did that with Jesse Lingard, you tell me how many times Lingard's been on that pitch. He wanted him out of there. And then maybe, like you said, Saeed, you may have seen a Hannibal, a Nick Val, you know what I mean? A Garnacho, a McNeil.
There you go.
One of these players, even a Hugo. But he kept him and he has to go on the bench.
Why didn't Myrtle keep him though? Myrtle, because he said that, Lingard said in a statement that, I was told to kind of basically shut up and put up. So Myrtle then surely has to offer some game time. But I think he just wants to keep him part of the squad, and numbers-wise, because Martial and them lot have left, numbers-wise, he's kept him in there.
Saeed? You know why, mate? Because he's perfect for them pin-up winning team pictures on social media. Do you know what?
Yeah.
Best one I've seen, Jamie, was United in the international break. And this will answer all our questions that we've just been talking about with the youth team and everything. The youth team's having one of its best seasons ever. Best seasons in 11 years. First time we've made the final of the FA Youth Cup in 11 years. And in the international break, United posted out hard at work in the training ground. 3 players. Do you know who them 3 players were?
Yeah.
Juan Mata, Phil Jones, and Jesse Lingard. Those were the 3 players United were posting out on their socials hard at work. Not one of them is going to contribute one bit to this team. So where are they contributing? You tell me. Why are United postering them up when they are contributing nothing on the pitch? Because what happens on the pitch does not matter.
I think if you're an outsider, if you're an outsider and you don't follow United as extensively as, I know you two boys do a lot more graft through the week than I do.
Based on we know a lot more,
Yeah, if you're looking from an outsider and you don't follow Man United and you're, I don't know, from Asia or something and you follow a different England club or Africa or somewhere in the world, if you look at Man United social media, it looks like a little happy club, but when you delve into it and you look into things a lot closely, like you boys do on a daily basis, and you get told things, and it's just an absolute shambles, and it's just like putting something pretty in the window to make it look all nice and shiny. But when in the reality is, I described Man U in the mid-season as a lovely shiny apple in your fridge, but it's rotten in the middle. But you can't see the rotten until you bite into it. And I think it's a stupid analogy with an apple, but it's got so much relevance to this because they will do everything they possibly can. And don't be surprised when we do finally appoint a manager. God forbid, we can make an actual decision on appointing a new manager and giving us some sort of hope. It will come after a defeat. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if we announced a new manager the day after the Anfield game. It wouldn't surprise me because it's let's give them something.
It won't be that one, Jamie. It'll be the Arsenal one after it in the same week. That's when it will be, because that game then will determine how our season's going to finish. I said that you're dead right, mate. I said this myself the other day. I said they will just make that announcement about the manager once the season is completely well and truly finished. And I think in 3 games' time, 4 games' time, that will be. And we'll only.
I think we'll get battered that game. Arsenal game. I think we'll get battered.
Arsenal are miles ahead of us out, and how we've allowed this to happen is ridiculous. But Jamie, you're dead right, mate. They will announce something literally as the end is nigh. That's how they will do it.
I would
Tottenham
say on
won
that
today as well.
I mean, you guys probably get a lot more. Well, you definitely get a lot more information than I do regarding Man United because I ask you boys for it. But with the Ten Hag stuff, right? Do you know my take on this? And I might be completely wrong, right? But if we do get him and we have got an agreement in place, apparently everything was rosy when he had his interview. He wants a little bit more sort of chats about the structure and how he can affect the transfers and blah, 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 which is fantastic. It's exactly what you want to hear from a new manager coming in because he's going to need a magic wand. You know, he is going to need a magic wand and some magic dust to go with the wand as well. But the thing is with Ajax, and comes out to the structure again, and this is why I've asked if I can just mention this quickly. With Ajax, they're in a title race at the moment, and they're not just going to allow Man U's business to be brought out that if we do get Ten Hag and he is going to be the next manager. I hope personally he is. I'm about 50-50 whether it's going to be him or Poch. I just feel like something will happen with Pochettino. I hope it doesn't. But Ajax are run properly to not let that happen and influence the rest of their season because they're a proper run club that are ran professionally and they've got right people in the right places at that club to protect their asset. And their asset at the moment is their manager. Yes, he might be becoming the Man United manager, but at this moment in time, he's a really important cog in their season. He's the most important cog because he's going to be the man that tries to win the trophy. Whereas we don't work like that. We don't work like that. We're all about what's going to make big news and get big hits and blah, blah, blah. So if it is going to be Ten Hag, I wouldn't be surprised. The longer it goes, the more confident I'm going to be that it is going to be him. Because there's no way a proper club, a proper footballing club like Ajax will allow us to put that out when they're going through such an important season, part of their season themselves, which is completely the opposite way that we deal with things. So the longer it goes on, I don't know if you boys agree with me, but the more confident I will be that it might be Ten Hag. But I tell you what, he's got a massive reputation in football and he's putting it all on the line. So if I was him, I would be crossing every single question out to make sure he's in control of this because he could come with a massive reputation. And I love him. I listen to him. I listen to the way he comes across on interviews, the way he plays, and I will completely buy into him. And I feel like the fan base will as well. But if the board are not willing to allow him to do it his way, I would be staying well clear of it if I was him because we could literally shatter his reputation in 6 months.
Well, this is it, Said, mate. I mean, Pep Guardiola has already hinted out there now that Ten Hag would be perfect manager for Manchester City in the future. I mean, people are cutting onto it. I mean, there's a chance there that United, if they don't act soon and don't act like a big club and actually go in and say, look, we want you. Let's get this deal done and dusted. And behind the scenes, maybe that will happen. I mean, Ten Hag said it's a brilliant big club. He hopes the Ajax fans will obviously understand if he does go there to change his career up and move on. He said all the right things, mate. If United did balls this up, do you think that would be the final nail in the coffin for massive majority of the fan base?
Absolutely, mate. You know what I mean? I think this is more than ever. You know, I think a direction. I think Pochettino isn't a bad choice, but he's not the right choice. I think for us fans, I think more than just success at the minute. I think a lot of people, you know, I'm not looking for immediate trophies at the minute because I feel like that's not realistic for Man United.
No,
I think what's realistic is having a structure, having a direction, and then going from there. And then I understand that under Ten Hag, it will take maybe 2 to 3 years. There will be a process. I did say there will be a lot of players that will be leaving, and Ten Hag will have to ship a lot of players out, you know, and it's just a reality. And until you get his team, again, that will be 2 to 3 years, and then we can look towards something. And in that way, we get top 4 in that way and maybe win a cup. It's a bonus. But I think right now, there has to be some sort of guidance. For me, Pochettino, it's almost as if we'll have a super team, but then we won't have the correct structure in place for it to build and the correct manager in place to build it. And that's the problem. I'd rather go back to go forward, but then stay forward. You know what I mean? Don't go back or go forward and then take 3 steps back. You know,
I mean, I tell you what, biggest hint of how bad and exactly what the outside world see United run like is the reaction of the Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge yesterday of the possibility of the Ricketts coming in, another American owner coming in. I mean, we spoke to Dave, who is on this channel a lot, who knows a lot of inside info on franchise and football, American football, NFL, and how the American owners run things. He's saying they're exactly like the Glazers, if not worse. It will be a disaster for Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea have had a gravy train for many a years now, and I think the realization for them Chelsea fans is that they could be the next Glazers, Hick and Gillette. You know, it could be it, Jamie, and that it's been taken over. And we didn't want the Super League. We kind of didn't get the Super League, but the more power players that come in like this, I don't think that next installment of Super League panic would be a million miles away, because then you would have another one of them big clubs run by the billionaire Americans who just want to run it for their own profits, like it is at United, where it is at Arsenal, like it is at Liverpool. Another one would be a disaster for the Premier League as well, mate, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think like there's massive scope on the Premier League now for ownership anyway, because of what's gone on. But it will just magnify even more, like to the point if they bring another family in that's going to treat Chelsea like and God, like obviously I'm a Man United fan. I've got the best interest of Man U, but I wouldn't want Chelsea fans to have to go through what we've went through. Do you know what I mean? And it's very easy for people to just say, well, they've spent money. What about Varane? What about Ronaldo? What about this? Like, look deeper, you know? Look deeper at what they're doing. And it's not even the fact of that they don't spend money. It's just the stupid decision-making that they make. And we've obviously touched on multiple points during the show, rewarding mediocrity, giving contracts to players that don't even play. Like, what's that about? And it's all protecting assets and stuff. So I kind of I have respect for Chelsea fans for not wanting that, because I think we're the prime club to look at and think we don't want to be another Man United. You know, people that are knowledgeable and understand what the Glazers are doing, instead of just seeing the signings that they make and they sign off this player and this player, and delve deeper and look about what they haven't done. And Gary Neville listed a bunch of them to try and change it around, but they're not interested. And I'm kind of in with your mindset, Saeed. Like, I'll more than happily take a step back to take a step forward. Whereas I feel like if we get Pochettino, we'll be probably having this conversation again in 3 years' time. Do you know what I mean? And it's rinse and repeat again. And it's another 3 years of dividends. It's another 3 years of failure. It's another toxic fan base with a team of players that don't represent us as fans. Whereas I feel like that he's like the saving grace, Ten Hag, and I don't even think the poor guy realizes it, you know. And they have to get this one right. And if they do get this one right, I'll buy into the fact of, right, maybe with Mata coming in, he's got a vision and he actually wants to see some improvement on the pitch. Because the weird analogy of it is, the Glazers like to make money. If we were winning everything, they would make even more money, you know. So it's a case of
crazy, isn't it?
If there isn't a structure in place going forward for the club, after this appointment, we're going to become a mediocrity club, and we're competing now with Wolves and West Ham for a Europa League place. Do you know what I mean? And I think that we've got to be realistic in where we are. And I feel like if they go with Ten Hag, 95%, maybe even 100% of the fan base will buy into, right, he's got a 5-year contract. Let's give him that 5 years to do what he needs to do and put a plan in place. Whereas if they bring in Pochettino, the first game of the season, if we get beat, bang, the whole show's gone again. And the negativity is going to run through the whole fan base, and it's rinse and repeat. But it's all about the money game, isn't it? So who knows with these people?
That's it. Unfortunately, they want to replace the current season ticket holders with the people that aren't bothered. And they will fill the stadium. That's the sad, sorry state of affairs. See John Donnelly's comment there saying stop buying season tickets, empty the ground. Sadly, it will never be empty. It will just be filled with a different type of fan. That generational fan, was it, that they wanted for the Super League? What was it that they called them?
They wanted legacy fans and
legacy fans.
Yeah.
This is
the amount of tickets that were given away yesterday in the East Stand that weren't regulars, and you know there were day trippers was a lot. So listen, it's always someone's first time, and when they see it for the first time, then it's another someone's first time. Because you've got to remember, there's 75,000 tickets in the stadium. How many United fans are there worldwide? Come on, mate. Come on.
Exactly that, guys. But we have run out of time. Great conversation, great points made. A lot of passion on the show tonight from the panel and the comment section. Guys, you're absolutely on fire today on the comment section. Love it. I will be back at 8 o'clock on the United Stand. We've got a lot to talk about there as well, so tune in on there for that one. J-Met, cheers for coming on tonight, mate. Brilliant points.
No, absolute pleasure, mate. Always nice to see you two boys. So thank you for having me again, as always.
Nice one, Jamie, mate. And Saeed, mate. Saeed TV, what's coming up, mate?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be with Nuruddin with the Straight Jacket podcast, so that should be live.
I see Nuruddin just like a beaten man right now.
He is, isn't it? He is, man. Done. He's done.
Loads of people have said to me tonight, actually, saying you look dead sad. Well, watching United week in, week out does that to you. It's hard to keep a smile going, but Saeed, anything else coming up this week, mate? I know I'll be on this week as well for your channel.
Yeah, we'll be on this week as well, catching up. And just keep supporting, keep subscribing, and then we'll just see what this club does to us next. I mean, we've got Everton on Saturday. They're on a barren run, but we'll make them look like prime Barcelona. Don't worry.
I'm dreading that game. I don't even want to talk about it, but I have horrible memories of that place. But that's what's next, guys. Obviously, I will be back with the marathon vlogs as well this week. So if you haven't already tuned in, donated, left anything, liked on the videos, do go down into the channel and hook up onto that one there and just big up the channel, get some support because all the money raised goes to charity. So guys, check that out as well. But for now, we're out of here. I'm on later on at 8 o'clock, like I said, on the United Stand. Give the video a like on the way out, guys, as well. Great comments tonight and quite a few people in on the show as well tonight. But for now, guys, we're out of here. Enjoy what's left of Sunday and this weekend. Another week off for us. Back on Saturday against Everton, early doors. Who knows? Who knows? Does it really matter right now? That's the thing. Cheers for watching, everyone. Laters.